Welcome to another episode of Bedtime Stories with me. As you can see, I'm trying out a virtual background this time. So today's story is called The Horse and the Snail. So once upon a time, in a farm, there lived a horse that is very egoistic. So the horse is egoistic because its master is constantly reassuring him that you are a magnificent beast, you are the fastest horse I've ever had, and you can run so fast and you bring me a lot of money in the horse race, and you are a most gentle creature I've ever seen. So because the farm owner praises the horse so much, this horse became very egoistic and very haughty. So one day, the horse saw a tiny snail, and the horse started laughing at the snail to say that you are so small and you are so slimy and you are so slow, you are just crawling everywhere. How can you compare yourself to me, a magnificent beast? So the snail tried to brush it off at first, tried to brush off all this insult, but the horse kept tormenting it to say that if we were to participate in a race, you would definitely lose without a doubt. So the snail said, okay, fine, why not? Let's settle this in the bed. Let's have a race. So the horse laughed and said, you want to have a race with me? Sure, why not? Let's do it tomorrow morning. So true enough, the horse showed up the next morning, but the snail actually came with a plan. They have already devised a plan of what they're going to do. The snail gang up with all his other friends because all the snails look alike, and they say, why don't we spread ourselves throughout all the checkpoints and we deceive the horse that we are running as fast as possible. So that's what they did. And as soon as the race has begun, all of the snails positioned themselves in the checkpoint throughout the racetrack, and the horse started running. And every time the horse is checking himself at the milestone checkpoint, he sees the snail around him, and he panicked and said, this is impossible. How can the snail run as fast as me? So the horse started running faster and faster towards the finishing line. But this keeps happening again and again. At each checkpoint, the horse kept seeing the snail everywhere. So eventually, the horse get really tired and couldn't even end up at the finish line because he was already so exhausted. And the snail, he surrendered. So the snail won the race. So the moral of the story, my friends, is that do not be too egoistic. Do not be too haughty to think that we are always the best in what we do, and do not engage ourselves in unfair situations, bullying the smaller ones or the weaker ones. This horse was being very silly and ridiculous, trying to put himself in a competition with other snails because it definitely does not match. Their skill sets are very different. So how can he expect the snail to run as fast as him? But he engaged in that kind of race because he was trying to show off and he was trying to prove that he is better than the snail. So this is a reflection for us, my friends, before you go to sleep tonight, to think if you are ever in a situation where someone has done that to you, put you in a very unfair situation, a race of some kind to show off your skill sets, but in a very unfair setting, or have you done it to someone else, maybe unintentionally? Have you done that to someone else, trying to put them in a very unfair situation? It's also a reminder for us to be clever when we are in certain situation. Like the snail who got himself caught in that situation was very clever to devise a plan where they could deceive the horse and then win that race. As always, we will end an episode of Bedtime Stories with me with a gratitude exercise. So think about a moment today that made you feel truly grateful, and then think about the people surrounding that moment. It could be your family, your friends, it could be someone virtual, it can also be your pets. And then silently say thanks, because for all the things that may have gone wrong today, you will always have that one moment to be grateful for. I'll see you tomorrow in another episode of Bedtime Stories with me. Bye!